The gallows he built became his own doom, and the queen's courage changed history. When the decree went out, the fate of an entire people was sealed. The Jews of Persia were marked for destruction. One man's pride had turned into an empire-wide death sentence. When the decree went out, the fate of an entire people was sealed. The Jews of Persia were marked for destruction. One man's pride had turned into an empire-wide death sentence. But what Haman never saw coming was a queen chosen for such a time as this. Across 127 provinces, a whisper turned to a wail. Every Jew, young and old, rich and poor, was condemned by law to die. The decree came from the palace itself, and none could reverse it. Mordecai tore his garments and cried aloud before the gates. He refused comfort, because how can a man rest while his people perish? In the safety of the palace, Esther hears the cries. Mordecai's message reaches her. Go to the king. Plead for your people. But even queens are not safe from the laws of kings. Esther knew that no one approaches the king uninvited. Whoever enters without a call is put to death unless he raises his golden scepter. Her hand trembles. A shadow crosses her face. Mordecai's reply arrives, written with urgency. Do not think you will escape in the king's house. If you remain silent now, deliverance will arise from another place. But who knows if you were not made queen for such a time as this? At that moment, determination replaces her fear. Then I will go to the king, she declared, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. That night, 3 days of fasting began. No food, no water. The queen prepared, and heaven watched. The royal hall gleamed with gold. King Xerxes sat on his throne. Esther walked the long corridor, her gown flowing like light, her heart pounding. The law said she should die. But God had another word. The king rose. Silence filled the court. He extended the golden scepter, and with that single gesture, the fate of a nation lifted. What is your request, Queen Esther? He asked. Even half my kingdom shall be given to you. Calmly, she replied, let the king and Haman come to a banquet I have prepared. She did not reveal her heart at once. The queen waited for the perfect moment, a second banquet. That evening, Haman walked home proudly, drunk on favor and power. But when he saw Mordecai still refusing to bow, his joy turned to fury. That night, Haman's hatred boiled over. He ordered a gallows built 75 feet high to hang the man who defied him. And while evil plotted in the dark, God moved in the night. The king tossed in bed, unable to sleep. He called for the royal records to be read aloud, and his heart was stirred by a forgotten story. The tale of a man who once saved his life. Mordecai, what honor was given to this man? The king asked. His servant replied, none, my lord. The next morning, Haman burst into the court, ready to ask permission to hang Mordecai. But the king interrupted him. Haman, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Haman's pride blinded him. Thinking the king meant him, he said he should wear the royal robe, ride the king's horse, and be led through the city with praise. The king grinned. Excellent, go and do so for Mordecai the Jew. The man who planned another's death was forced to proclaim his honor. At the second banquet, tension filled the air. Tell me, my queen, the king said, what is your request? Her voice trembled. If I have found favor, let my life and the lives of my people be spared. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed. The king was furious. Who would dare do such a thing? Esther turned her gaze to Haman. The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Haman's face turned pale. Guards rushed in. In a single breath, the hunter became the hunted. The king stormed out. Haman fell at Esther's couch, begging for mercy. A guard pointed, "Behold, the gallows he built for Mordecai." And just as swift and poetic found its mark, Haman was hanged on the very gallows he had built for another. The humble was exalted. The faithful were honored. Because the king's first law could not be erased, a new decree went out, sealed with the king's ring, giving the Jews the right to defend themselves. The day meant for death became the day of deliverance. From sorrow came celebration, from ashes, honor. And to this day, the Jews remember that victory as Purim, a feast to honor the God who turns mourning into joy. After Haman's execution on his own gallows, the king gave Haman's estate, his wealth, property, and influence to Queen Esther. Esther then appointed Mordecai over it. Later, the king gave Mordecai his royal signet ring, the same ring that once sealed Haman's evil decree. With it, Mordecai wrote a new law that saved his people. He became the second most powerful man in Persia, next to the king, a symbol of faith, humility, and divine justice. You are positioned by purpose. True courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward in spite of it. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that brings history and faith to life. See you next time.